Jack is like the coolest guy, man.
Yeah, Jack, I just have an issue because, you want to point an issue out with the Christian worldview and say there's some sort of controversion, right? Well, my problem is, what is it that replaces God as the absolute that would make contradictions an issue?
Who is it?
That's preferred Darth Dawkins Minion.
Don't know who he is.
I don't know what is meant by absolute.
Just the final reference point.
Yeah, but I don't understand what that means.
The final reference point of the ultimacy of reality. Like you can't go further back.
Wait,
Isn't that
now
Cartesianism?
is well, it sounds like it, but now, I've encountered this guy before, but wasn't there sort of like a question as to whether he's just trolling?
No, he's not.
A lot of people think he's trolling, but he's not trolling.
Yeah,
he's just.
I think he's serious, Jack. Do you mind if I deal with him? I deal with preferred all the time and shut him down. So I can do it. I can talk.
Yeah,
to him
go ahead.
if you don't want to waste your. Yeah, so
Unleash the Yuri.
Yeah, Yuri. What is it that replaces the absolute? Like, if you want to say there's some sort of contradiction with the Christian worldview, what is it that replaces God that makes that contradiction a problem?
I'm not sure what you're at.
Well, if you want to claim that there's something wrong with the Christian worldview and that it's not true, what is it that would replace God as the absolute that would then make your worldview?
Are you just asking? Are you just asking?
Yeah,
Are you
I just
asking
want to know
how I know? Wait, hold on. Right, are you just asking how do I know whether or not a proposition is coherent?
I don't think that's what he's asking.
Why would contradictions be a
Wait, is that what you're
why
asking?
would contradictions be a problem?
Well, I would just appeal to certain epistemic norms that are necessarily constant.
What epistemic?
Well, I would just take them to be like norms of rationality, laws of.
He means
but where do they?
Those are conventions.
Yeah, those are contingent upon something that's absolute. What is absolute that replaces?
Well, I'm not sure about that.
They're not
right?
contingent on
I'm not
saying
sure
that's
about that.
absolute. Absolute isn't necessary for anything.
Well, I don't know why people are talking.
Because Yuri, you're fucking the dog. That's why, Yuri.
Yeah. So. No, I even lost what I was about to ask.
Give Yuri another chance.
I don't think he's fucking the dog, but.
Okay, so let me just say really quickly, really easily. When you say what's the absolute that replaces God, you're pointing to a system of Cartesian certainty, and the issue that was raised in the conversation which caused you to ask that question was pointing out the problem with Cartesian certainty. So if Cartesian certainty is a problem, and then you're asking for a Cartesian resolution, then you're just presupposing that there can't be some non-Cartesian system.
Well, he already admitted what he was talking about. He already asked that I already clarified with him, but he was just referring to how do we determine whether or not proposition is coherent or not. Read to that. And I was running him down the path until people wanted to talk, which I hate when people do. I never do.
Go ahead, Yuri. You got the path, man.
Utter bullshit, Yuri.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, look, I agree with Tom on this. I hate when you ask them a question, people overtalk you and then ask a different question, right? That irritates me.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right.
So,
listen, yeah, I mean, atheists can't tell you what the absolute is.
Well, like I said, I already appealed to certain norms that I think are constitutive of agency. And then you asked what those norms were, and I said those were norms of rationality, laws of logic, things. And now,
yeah, then I asked where they come from.
No, I don't know what you mean when you say where do they come from, because I take like laws of logic or norms of rationality to be atemporal objects. So when you say where, no, not atemporal. When you say, no, that's not what I meant to say. I'm sorry. When you say that epistemic norms or norms of rationality, when you say where do they come from, right? You're implying that they have like some sort of spatial extension, right? And I don't believe that they have. So I think the question.
Yeah, but how do you justify that?
Say
What's
it
your
comes from.
justified?
Say it comes from.
I'm not sure.
Right, you're asking about
I'm not
knowledge.
sure about. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we would justify. I don't know what it means to.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I had to ask. It's clear that that's an incoherent.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what it means to say that an entity has to.
Yeah, God justifies himself. So what is it that replaces God that would?
How does an entity justify itself?
Well,
There's
I would
nothing-
just take. I would just appeal. Well, I would just appeal to them being. I would just appeal to them being real properties that exist, like abstract. Necessary abstractions that constitute agency.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, but I do want to end the conversation here. Maybe we can pick it up some other time. But I just want to disagree with you.
Didn't you say? Because
that
I brought this objection up to you before, right? About how your question begs the question against someone who holds to a realist thesis of properties, right? And you said you were going to talk to Darth Dawkins about this, right? But have you talked to him about it, or has he given you?
No, I haven't talked to him about it. Yeah, still.
I'm curious to see what he has to say, since I don't think he actually has a good objection to that.
Yeah, me too. I wonder what his objection would be, but right now I just don't find it.
Preferred, what do you think an absolute is? What do you think?
Something. Yeah, it's a final reference point. You can't go further.
What do you think a reference point is?
Yeah, it's the ultimacy of reality, the grounds of all being, upon which everything else is.
Yeah, but I don't understand any of these words. Like, is the idea that there's something upon which everything depends?
Yeah, everyone presupposes that something is ultimate and absolute, and everything else is contingent and derivative of that.
It sounds like you're saying everyone thinks that contingent facts are explained by a necessary fact.
Yeah, the ultimate fact, the final reference point upon which everything else depends.
That's just not true, though, right? There are plenty of people who don't think that contingent facts are explained by necessary facts.
Yeah, that doesn't defeat the Christian worldview, so I'd have to dismiss that.
Well, it defeats what you said, because you said that everyone thinks this, and then I said, no, it's actually not the case. There are plenty of people
Everyone presupposes that something is ultimate. Everyone's a presupposition.
What is that?
Whether they think so or not.
But when you say everyone presupposes something is ultimate, and I asked you what that means, is that ultimately there's some necessary fact upon which every contingent fact depends. If that's what it presupposes, that's what I'm saying is false. It's not the case that everyone presupposes.
Well, then what else would there be? What would be the other option? Because otherwise you just end up with an infinite regress. If there's an infinite regress, how did we end up here?
Through contingency.
Yeah, but
Look,
what's the ultimate reference point? Because if everything's contingent, what is...
You could be an infinitist, and you could think that every contingent fact is going to be fully explained by the antecedent contingent facts, and that all that means is that for every instance it needs to be fully explained, and it's explained infinitely, perfectly coherent. There's no logical contradiction in that. Or you could think it bottoms out in some fact for which there's no explanation. Neither of those is incoherent.